From being born in Flea Bottom to becoming the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard, who really was Sir Duncan the Tall? So Duncan was born in Flea Bottom, the most impoverished district in King's Landing. He was born around 192 AC. He was an orphan with no known parents, and he grew up poor, hungry, and uneducated. He was taken in as a squire by Sir Arian of Pennytree, a hedge knight, a wandering swordsman with no lord, no lands, and often little coin. But despite lacking formal training or noble blood, Dunk was gifted with exceptional height, strength, and integrity. He stood over 6.5 feet tall as a young man, eventually growing to nearly 7 feet, a literal giant. Sir Arian taught him the basics of knighthood, but it was Dunk's own moral compass that set him apart from other knights. When Sir Arian died, Dunk claimed his arms and armor and decided to enter a tourney at Ashford Meadow, presenting himself for the first time as Sir Duncan the Tall, even though he had never been knighted. At Ashford, Dunk encountered a bald headed stable boy named Egg, who begged to serve as a squire. Egg was no ordinary boy, though. He was Aegon Targaryen, the fourth son of Maekar Targaryen and the great grandson of Daeron the Good. The unlikely pair, a humble hedge knight and a prince, would make one of the most iconic partnerships in all of Westeros history. The tourney turned bloody when Dunk defended a puppeteer from a cruel prince, leading to a trial by combat known as the Trial of the Seven. Dunk's valor earned him the respect of the royal family, and from then on, he and Egg traveled the realm as a wandering knight and squire. Unlike many of his fellow knights, Duncan truly embodied the ideals of being a knight. He was not a knight in name only, he was kind, honest, and brave, defending the defenseless and standing up to those in power when necessary. He often struggled with self doubt and believed himself unworthy of high praise, even as he performed deeds worthy of legend. And in an age of scheming lords and brutal warlords, Dunk's morality made him a rare symbol of hope for the common folk of Westeros. He was genuine even as he rose to positions of power. He remained grounded, often questioning his own worth and wondering whether he truly deserved the title of Sir. He lived during the time of the Blackfire Rebellion, which was a series of civil wars fought between the Targaryen crown and a line of legitimized bastards known as the Blackfires. These conflicts tore Westeros apart, with lords choosing sides in a dynamic struggle that spanned generations. In the book The Mystery Knight, Dunk and Egg attend a secret tourney that was actually a cover for a Blackfire plot to launch another rebellion. But with Dunk's loyalty to the crown and his intuitive sense of right and wrong, it led him to uncover this scheme. His choices during these events helped prevent a massive civil war. And as Egg rose in prominence and got older and eventually became King Aegon V Targaryen, Dunk was named Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. It was quite the achievement for a man who began life in the gutters of Flea Bottom. But the end of Sir Duncan's story includes one of the greatest tragedies in Westerosi history, the mysterious fire at Summerhall. In 259 AC, King Aegon V attempted to hatch dragon eggs using fire and sorcery, hoping to restore the dragons and the Targaryen dynasty and their lost glory. But something went catastrophically wrong. The resulting fire claimed many lives, including King Aegon V, or Egg, Prince Duncan Targaryen, his son, and likely Sir Duncan the Tall, who was believed to have died trying to save the royal family. But the full details remain a mystery, and the only surviving record is a cryptic line in The World of Ice and Fire, quoting Summerhall, tragedy, fire and grief and death, 1,000 words will not change it. Dunk's death, though it was off page, is implied to be a final act of heroism, protecting his friend Egg and others during a doomed magical experiment. Despite his achievements, Sir Duncan is rarely mentioned in modern Westeros. He left no children, no lands, and no great house. He lived and died as a true knight, one who cared more about the people than the songs. However, There are some hints that his bloodline may have lived on. Brienne of Tarth, who we saw in Game of Thrones, may be his descendant. George Martin has heavily implied this connection without confirming it. If true, Brienne would carry on Dunk's legacy as a knight of true virtue. His life is not one of political mastery or dragon riding. Instead, it is a story of quiet nobility, unwavering loyalty, and moral courage. In a world filled with tyrants, traitors, and manipulators, Dunk stood out simply by being good.